We begin this episode with a flashback to 1908. We see a young man at an amusement park with his father. He goes into a freak show exhibit and is frightened by a freakishly skinny older gentleman who's missing one eye. He quickly runs out of the tent and into his father. His father immediately tells him to not be so soft. We cut to them traveling on a road and they stop for gas. The young man meets a young Native American woman. She's intrigued by his slingshot and they begin to play near the woods. The young gentleman runs into the woods as the young girl warns him to stop. He continues to run deeper into the woodlands and suddenly stops as the energy begins to shift. He looks ahead of him and sees a figure that looks awfully similar to the freakishly skinny, disfigured man he saw at the carnival earlier, peeking from behind a tree. Alarmed by the sight, he begins to back up as the creepy figure appears to be getting closer. Oh, Pennywise, always on the hunt for the next meal. The young man begins to run as the creature begins to chase him through the woods. The mysterious creature corners him and is about to devour him until the young woman uses the slingshot to injure the horrid monster. They both escape the woods and she informs him the creature cannot cross the threshold. We cut back to current day and we see Lily being released from the asylum. She discusses her estranged friendship with Veronica. A nurse that appears to be kind reassures her she'll find a way to fix it as she prepares to leave with her mother. We catch up with Hank in jail and I'm surprised he's still alive. The crooked police chief claims he has an alibi that saw him near the theater the night that the children were slaughtered. Hank reiterates that he had nothing to do with the murder of those children. The chief just walks away and laughs but tells him he's gonna miss him. This situation isn't looking good for Hank. Lily and Veronica meet in the girls' room after Veronica cleans off her locker, which was marked with language accusing her father of being a murderer. Lily apologizes to Veronica and they both come up with a plan to take a picture of the creature they've been seeing so her father can be proven innocent. Veronica agrees as they get the gang together. Next, we see General Shaw discuss the photos that were taken of the truck they discovered at the end of the last episode. He tells the soldier it's time for them to take to the skies. Next, we see Leroy, Dick, and another soldier in a helicopter flying above the woodlands. Suddenly, Dick uses his talents to direct Leroy to the exact spot of Pennywise's location. He gets so deep into a trance that he essentially astral projects himself into the lair of Pennywise. A door opens as Dick stares into the darkness. A pair of glowing eyes appears and asks, "Who are you?" Dick looks up and sees the floating corpse of his late grandmother. She yells and tells him to leave. He immediately turns around and runs and begins to twist the knob of a door that seemingly won't budge. We cut back to reality and it appears Pennywise was about to make this man jump out of the helicopter, but Leroy stops him. Yikes. This was intense and it seems like Pennywise got into his mind and almost made him unalive himself. He clearly viewed Dick as a threat. I am so happy Leroy stopped him. Dick, clearly shaken by the experience, later tells General Shaw they should probably let this thing be. The general thanks him again and tells him to rest. General Shaw is clearly on a mission and will not leave the evil entity alone. Let's see how this works out for him. We cut to General Shaw meeting with Rose. We learn they were the children we saw at the beginning of the episode and that his first name is Francis. He informs her of what he's doing in the woodlands and suggests they catch up later. Leroy invites Dick over for dinner. He introduces him to his wife, Charlotte, and they later discuss what happened on the helicopter. And Dick reveals his gift of psychic abilities to Leroy. Leroy predicts Dick was present the night he was attacked on base, and Dick confirms that he was. Leroy instructs him to stay out of his head moving forward. Dick agrees. This was such a real moment between these two characters. I feel they may be strong allies moving forward. Lastly, our Losers Club meet in the cemetery and try to perform a seance, but aren't successful. As they begin to leave, things get weird and they are chased by the ghost of dead children in Derry. They manage to snap photos of what they're seeing but get separated in the process. However, it is Will that gets the money shot as the evil entity sneaks up on him. The kids manage to escape. We later learn when the kids are developing the photos, we get our first peek at the evil clown. The kids celebrate their victory and the episode fades to black. I'm glad the kids were victorious in getting photographic evidence of some of the weird shit they've been seeing. I just hope it's enough to get Veronica's dad out of jail. This episode moved the story forward and connected so many dots, like Dick feeling out Leroy's bravery during the night of the orchestrated attack. Also, General Shaw's experience with the evil entity as a kid is driving his ambition to track it down. This scene of the ghost chasing the kids throughout the cemetery looked a little green screeny, but the overall episode was solid. I rate this episode a solid B. If you like this review, please like, comment, share, and subscribe.